is when we do the analysis portion of this show. Actually, I need to do some... No, I don't need to do volume leveling right now. The volume is fine for you guys. Just that end part was really bad, and I apologize for that. I'm looking down because I'm changing my volume. So, usually what I do in my analysis, there are a few different categories. I like to think about controls and about the feel of the game, how comfortable the controls were, and the only issue I had as far as controls go is that the E key was sometimes hard to reach, and that has to do with hands problems, not like game design problems. Because it's a professionally produced game, they've ironed out the feel of the game, and that's fine. Like, I think that the feel of this game was great. There are no problems at all with the feel, and so that's the place they scored very high on. Very few of the puzzles were actually challenging, because the puzzles had this. They all had this thing where they kind of just told you what the next thing is. You could look at the objects in the room and say, all right, well, this is going to do this sort of thing, and this object does this, so I can play with them and get them to do what they normally do, and then see how the puzzle was designed that way. And so for that reason, I thought it was kind of weak. Just as far as puzzle design goes, none of the puzzles. This wasn't like Antichamber, where you run into puzzles all the time that stump you and make you think of something new, make you think of something more powerful. I've heard that there are separate puzzles developed that are good for that sort of thing. I've heard that, like, in the Steam store on the Steam community page, you can. Being able to see myself over here on this screen is really bugging me. But people have created puzzles, and I might try those in the future and see if those puzzles are better than what Valve came up with. And I just don't know on that. So those are the two biggest things that are strikes against it. The music was really good. Like, the flavor is the other big thing that I talk about when I talk about games, and the story. Flavor and story kind of, like, they obviously go together, but in this game they were very intimately connected, and they were also intimately connected with the gameplay, which was really fantastic. Because this is a professionally produced game, we're going to start at $15 for the analysis instead of the $10 that I do for indie games. And actually, it takes steps in both directions. This game, like I mentioned, the puzzles just weren't difficult. They didn't make me think, they didn't trick me as often as I would have liked. That might be because I'm a puzzle game player and I do really well with puzzles, and it might be because they just weren't that challenging. And that's the place I'm gonna dock it down probably $2 on the grade. And then the cohesiveness, the cohesion of the story, that's gonna give them at least $3-4. And I think that this is a $17 game. Would be. Now, that's just way too high for what I normally do. I'm really, really stingy with my dollar prices. But we did start at 15, and I think that this did better than I would expect most games to do. For a AAA developed game, I think it's probably worth more than $15. We're going to say 17. I think that's very legitimate. Most of that is because there's flavor tied so well into the gameplay, and the story tied so well into the flavor, and all that really worked well together and held the game together. So for that reason, we're going to give $17 to this one. Thank you so much for watching. It was good having you guys, and I hope to see you tomorrow. I think tomorrow night we're going to do... I honestly don't know. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do tomorrow night, but we'll figure it out. Thanks for watching.